Welcome to the Make Life Your Bitch podcast. I'm your host, Brittany Alysia. Greatness is a decision and your birthright. You deserve to love the woman looking back at you in the mirror. This show is for the purpose-driven female entrepreneur who is committed to only counting the time she gets back up. The woman who is ready to ignite the flame within, find her voice, and use the power of her story to transform the lives of those around her. This is your weekly fuel to inspire you to action, where I'll be sharing inspirational stories, real talks with thought leaders and successful entrepreneurs from around the world, and provide you with actionable success strategies for creating a business you love. I'm a content marketing coach, and I'm committed to helping you as an online creator and entrepreneur wherever you are to turn your dreams into a reality, to help you transform your messaging so you can create a genuine connection with your audience and grow your income online. You are far more powerful and stronger than you will ever imagine. We are the warriors. You were born for this. Let's make life your bitch. Hello and welcome to the Make Life Your Bitch podcast. It's your host, Brittany Alysia, and today we're going to heat things up. Today we're going to focus on and talk about the client journey. So if you are following along and joining us on the Road to 10K challenge, you can jump into the description and grab the link to sign up. That way you're getting notifications, reminders, any resources that I give you, you're going to be able to find there. Each little piece of the challenge that you are going to find is going to be on my Instagram. I'm going to do reels every single day with an activity for you to do, but every Monday, the big thing is that I'm going to focus on is giving you the rundown of what to expect for the week for the challenge. So today we are going to focus on the client journey. And the client journey at the end of the day is everything you create ever on social media for your business is all about building trust. Right? So everything you create, be asking yourself, is this working towards helping my clients trust me? If it doesn't, then why are you doing it? You are bouncing around. So if you've ever heard about know, like, and trust, is really bringing people into your world and getting them to identify who you are. Who is this person? So if you are someone who is only hanging out on your personal profile, you are limiting your audience as to who it is that you can work with. So I'll explain first the client journey that we are going to be focusing on for the challenge, and then I will explain each one a little deeper. So when it comes to the client journey, obviously the first thing you need to do is figure out how to grow your audience to bring people into your world. And it's very important that when you're doing the client journey, that you remember that you're taking people down a path to trusting you in order to buy. Because if all you're ever doing is focusing on growing your audience, and you're ghosting them, you're not actually ever saying anything to them, then obviously they're going to leave or not connect with you. So remembering that you need to be implementing all of these steps into what you're creating. So step one is identifying growing your audience. How do you want to build your audience? Because that's what we're going to focus on for the next 30 days is helping you identify how you want to do things your way to create the 10K foundation for your business. So how do you want to bring people in? So some different ideas of how to utilize other people's audiences for your success is you can go into Facebook groups. And yes, you could drop your offers if you want, but the big thing is I say, if the goal of your business is to help people, go and actually help people, right? And so go check out someone else's Facebook group and see the questions that people are asking, questions where your audience is hanging out, and actually help them. Because the thing is even if someone says that they want support and you help them with it, It might not be the person who asked the initial question, but it could be someone else who sees what you said and they're like, she can help me. And they get curious and then they head over to your profile or whatever platform it is that you are hanging out. So Facebook groups is a great place. Reels. One of my clients asked me, she said, I can't be everywhere. I don't have the time for it. Where is the best place for me to hang out, to create? And so I said to her, the number one thing I would focus on is Reels. And the reason I say Reels is because with Reels, they're public, right? Like you tap into all sorts of audiences, and then you can actually recreate those reels or share them to your stories. For the people who want to hang out in stories, you can, cross it over to creating a post on your personal profile. You could, and I'm going to go deeper into content next week, week 3, next week we're going to talk about content. And then the week after, we're going to talk about repurposing content. So it doesn't feel like you're creating all the time. But, you're going to be able to break things down. So like I said, there's Reels, there's other people's Facebook groups, being on someone else's podcast, right? Utilizing their audience is great. Having someone on your podcast, if you have a podcast, and, again, utilizing someone's audience. The other thing is, lastly, so I said, someone else's Facebook group, Reels, podcasts, having different resources on your profile, whether it be through your website you want to share about, maybe you want to share about your other platforms that you are on, and getting them curious and wanting to start clicking different links. So a link tree is really great so that they're curious about you. They're wanting to know more, and that's kind of where the like comes in. And the big thing is that in order to actually turn these people into sales is tipping that scale, tipping the domino into trust. So what I am seeing a lot of people do is they're going from engaging with people, getting people into their world, people are interacting with their content, and they're jumping right to the sale, and they're trying to sell people, and there's this big trust piece happening, or this trust piece that isn't there, I guess. And so if you met a person and you were on possibly, I think Tinder, is that a thing? So you were on Tinder, or I think there's Bumble. I just hear people talking about them. I've never been on. But if you're on there and someone's all of a sudden interacting with, they see your profile, they engage with it, they message you, and all of a sudden you're trying to sell them on marriage. There's you haven't even built trust. Even to invite them on a date, have you actually built trust? Can you imagine someone going to your Tinder or Bumble or whatever the fuck account, and they say hello, and you're like, hey, and they're like, want to go on a date? And you're thinking to yourself, I don't even know who you are. I haven't even had a conversation with you yet. What the fuck? That's the same kind of thing, right? And so what we want to be able to do is actually build that trust and that relationship. So in order to get someone to trust you, we need to give them something for free, some sort of value. And so what does that mean value-wise? Because you don't necessarily need to create a whole bunch of free resources in regards to being all over the place, right? So like I said in the last episode yesterday, is having one focus for this challenge. What is the number one thing you are going to focus on? And with that, going through this client journey, focusing on selling that one thing. So if we think about a free resource, instead of you having millions of free resources, you can go back and take a look at the resources you've already created, because I'm sure you've done quite a few, and identify what ones of them relate to what you decide that you want to sell. And so if you were to look at mine, I have the road to 10K, I have the key to 10K, and I have road to cash. And all of these resources are focused on, and I have a few others, but these 3 resources are totally focused on my signature system, my system as to how I get clients to 10K months. And I just go deeper and deeper on them as I work with clients. So for example, free resource wise, I have those 3 and I explain each step. I actually focus on, just like this challenge is another free resource, is I'm focusing on the client journey and helping you create that foundation for the client journey and getting people to that point of trusting you and connecting with you. Now, if I was to go even deeper, so I was going to have a VIP upgrade for this, I decided that I didn't want to, because if you remember yesterday, I said my number 1 focus this year is fun. It didn't feel fun to me. I was just like, you know what, actually that doesn't seem fun. I would rather just do this for free and bring people in to make life your bitch. So I do have a paid resource in the sense that with Road to Cash, then you can jump into Visibility to Cash, and it's pre-recorded and it just goes deeper into Road to Cash, like into my signature steps. I just explain things even further where I talk about the content and I talk about the value ladder and building it backwards. So essentially I'm talking to you right now in this moment about my value ladder. And then the next step is Make Life Your Bitch. Inside Make Life Your Bitch, I'm going to teach you step by step by step, personally, you asking me questions on my signature system and me teaching you everything that you need to have in place in order to your specific business, and me interacting with you and answering your questions, right? And then there's private coaching, which is even more personalized. You have access to my personal Voxer, that kind of thing. So when it comes to the client journey or your value ladder, for example, you're just taking your signature system, when I say signature system, I mean like your personal way that you take clients from hello to sale. Or sorry, not hello to sale, but from like hello and first like getting them into your world and getting them, yes, to the sale, but even bringing them up to like invest more with you. And I am not someone who believes in I'm going to only give you part of it, and that, if you buy a program from me, in order for you to actually get success, you have to purchase the next thing. And so for me, when I actually looked at my value ladder, is that, and I realized when women were coming in, so say they bought a content program, I could help them create all the content in the world, but what I was seeing was they didn't actually have the foundation. They didn't have the niche. They didn't have their dream client, and they didn't have that solid foundation of connecting with people, right? Like they were trying to jump right to the sale. And so because of that, it was actually frustrating for me because I didn't want to leave anything out. I don't like people coming into my programs and feeling like they are, missing something, that when they get to the end, they're like, I still feel lost. That's a big thing in the industry right now, is there's like you've purchased like 1 million programs, you have 1 million pieces, but no one's actually showed you how to put all the pieces together. And that's what I decided. I'm going to focus on the Make Life Your Bitch Mastermind, where I actually help people put all the pieces together. I teach the things, but also that way, anything you've done in the past, you can still utilize within your business. Like no programs that you've been in were a waste. And then from there, obviously the next step up is private coaching. So it's really identifying that signature system. And that allows you to then, like I said, have that free resource. And the free resource is creating the value in order for people to, say like, okay, she can help me. I see that she knows what she's talking about. And now I want to invest and go deeper with her, spend some money. It's time, right? Because there can be people coming into your world who have millions of dollars, right? Like I have clients who make a lot of money in their 9 to 5, and they want to be able to like grow their business to that. Well, in order for them to grow their business, yeah, it makes sense for them to be coming in, wanting to hit those 10K months, because even though they're making lots of money personally in another area, well, they want to focus on business growth, right? So I don't have to go out there and fear that, I need to charge pennies in order to get people into my world because they haven't hit a 10K month yet. And so for yourself, like whatever it is that you are helping people with, trusting that they have the money and that maybe they just actually want to see that you are capable of helping them before they invest. So that's why giving value and giving that free resource, or, it could be even in a reel, you're just giving tips and tricks, and it can be something so simple and fun, right? For me, like I said, my word for this year is fun. So I want to do fun reels. In order for me to create the reels that I've done, is I'm focusing on that signature system, right? And then from there, so we said step 1 is find the audience outside of your audience you have already. Get them to follow you. Get them to engage on the content that you are creating. So things like, personal life stuff is like stories is a really good place for that. The actual value piece is your actual grid on Instagram is a great place for that, because people actually scroll through the grids versus like on Facebook. They don't, like, they'll do a few scrolls, but they don't go as far back. Whereas because they have the grid on Instagram, people will sit there and they'll, scroll and get lost in your world for a while. So really making sure that they have something of sustenance there in order to be able to want to stay, right? And so getting them to, and once they follow, getting them to engage, getting them to start clicking and wanting to know more about who is this person. From there, that resource, give them something of value so that they can actually start to trust that you can help them get the results that they desire. From there, it's, getting them to open the emails, getting them to continue to be interested in you, staying in your world, getting them to make that first purchase, and then becoming a lifetime customer and wanting to continue to stay in your world. So for myself, it would be, like I said, the free resource, challenges, podcast episodes, right? Like each individual podcast episode, if I'm giving value, it's bringing people in, they're starting to trust me, emails, that kind of thing. They might have first come in through an email, through a free resource, getting them to continue to open the emails, continue to build that trust until we tip the scale where we've developed enough trust in order for them to purchase, and then getting them, like I said, to stay and become a lifetime client. So this week we are going to focus on what it is that you do, who you help, how you help them, who the dream client is, based on this one focus. So I did mention it yesterday, but I want you to revisit it, take a look at what is the one focus that you are going to focus on for the challenge, because I really want to drill this in that you don't get distracted along the way. Choose one thing. For me, it is the Make Life Your Bitch Mastermind. So you will be hearing me talk about that because that's my focus. It's going to be my focus for the next year. And it's helping you trust me so that you think to yourself, okay, I want to be part of this. This sounds fun. There's other women who are my vibe. I want to hit the 10K months. I want to grow. I want to expand my business, and I'm ready to jump in. I trust Brittany. Now I want to do it, right? For me personally, I will touch on pricing later on in the challenge. But if you actually go over and you click on the Make Life Your Bitch Mastermind link for purchasing, I actually go through and talk about objections, which we'll talk about next week. We'll talk about handling objections and how to set up your content in a way that you're pre-handling all that stuff. But I break it down into the time commitment. I talk about like why I chose the price that I did, right? Right now, at the time of this recording, it just ended where I was just doing a offer of $222 a month or $2,000 for the year. It will never be offered at that price again, but now it's $555. And of course, I can increase the price, but the reason I chose $555 a month or $5,000 is because I want to ensure that nobody comes in to the point that they are stressed about making that next payment. And paying $5,000 in order to hit a $10,000 month, which I have the guarantee that if you are doing the work, if you are showing up to the calls and actually putting in the effort, tweaking, adjusting, asking questions, if after a year you don't hit $10,000, you get to be in the mastermind for free, right? And so if you are investing less than $10,000 for an entire year, and with someone who's confident enough to make sure that you get there and hit those $10,000 months, to me, it seems like a no-brainer, right? And so in order for me to help people see that I am that person who can help them, I can't just jump to someone coming into my world. There's going to be people who come in and they're like, yep, trust, and they're ready to purchase, where there's going to be other people who they might come in and they're like, I don't really know who this person is. I'm not really sure on if they can help me. And they might need more time. And it doesn't matter if it's $1 or if it's $1 million, they still might be questioning and have that question of like, is it worth it to invest? Because there's a lot of people out there who have invested tens of thousands of dollars into their business who aren't getting the results that they desire. And there's a lot of fear around, should I, do I want to invest? Can this person actually help me? Because I'm so frustrated that it isn't working for me. And so it's the same thing with yourself. Whatever it is that you do is remembering that people have invested a lot into the coaching industry and a lot into, if you're in multi-level marketing, into a lot of different products, and they're leery, and being okay with that, right? When it comes to objections in the past, people, like, the main objection that they had to get through was, do I have the money? Do I have the time for it? Now it's actually people are needing to develop the trust of, will this work for me? It's not even like, does this work? Do I have the money and time? It's like that piece around, is this going to work for me, because of the fear they have. So that is it for this episode of the Make Life Your Bitch podcast. Like I said, choose one focus, and I will see you on the next one. Go out there and make life your bitch. Thanks for listening to this episode of the Make Life Your Bitch podcast. If you enjoyed what you heard today, please share it with your bestie. And if you haven't already, subscribe, rate, and review the show on your favorite podcast player. If you have any questions, feedback, or compliments that you want to throw like confetti, you can reach me directly at podcast@makelifeyourbitch.co. Thanks for listening.